Oh, hey, B, how are you?
It's too long. It's too long. The
That's what
intro
she
is too
said.
long. I was just telling you, I was working on another one and I screwed it all up today. But
Yo, okay, so we'll chat after then. Why wouldn't you just tell me? And I know we've talked about it, but just make a landscape one. I can do that, man. 15
yeah,
seconds?
but it's everything, man. It's the song. It's just I'm just kind of not feeling it. I don't know what the deal is. I think it just needs to be better.
I was kind of hoping it would just be we go through all of the times we've ever interviewed somebody, and it's about to be like the. I feel like that's really in right now. So we'll just have 15-second clips of just continuous, just. And it'll be that for 15.
Need an old fashioned jingle. That's right, man. An old fashioned jingle. Ocular Rhombus disagrees. All right, well maybe we'll leave it. What's up, dude? How you doing?
Yo, okay, so man, I'm just gonna be that guy. Yesterday was one of those days from fucking hell where by the end of the day you're just kind of like, can this day just can it just stop? And at the very end of your day, you just get kicked right in the fucking scrotum. So then you wake up today and you're kind of just like, you know what? I'm just gonna take today and I'm not gonna show up my scrotum, but it finds it anyways, and it fucking kicks you in the scrotum, man. How you doing?
Good. Compared to that, I'm doing good.
I think I'm just exhausted. I think we're all exhausted, man. Everybody in the chat's exhausted. Before I start going on and on about being exhausted, and also I'm just gonna put it out there. I will never bitch about being exhausted, even though I know I've had narcolepsy since I'm 16, man. Like, yeah, no shit, you're exhausted, dog. It's part of the fucking shit. Vaughn Fake Name, what's going on, homie? Ocular Rom, that's my dude. How are you? Fucked Toys, my G, what is going on? Max Padron Toys, you dude, you can't just come into this game sculpting like a fiend the way you are to the fucking expert levels that you are out of the blue, my dude. What the hell? 8-Bit Mike, what's going on? Zenico, what's going on? David Dunn, how are you? Sir Collect a Lot, what's going on, my man? Dirty Yeti, Stomach Station, what's up? And Super Terrible Toys, what up? Blasted 9 Toys, what is going on, dude? Yeah, I'm just taking it. I'm going to Neckrath, my friend. We need an explanation. Your comment on the giveaway had me a little curious. I was a little curious if there's any AI involvement there. We're gonna put you on there. Street Fighter PDX, what's going on? Brilliant Demon, what's going on? Oh, we got Jazz Wizzy, Drezace, Ashley Alvarado. What up?
Yes, Ashley Alvarado. We will address that real quick. How about the fact that part of our country is on fire? Yes, Southern California. It was odd, man. I got an alert on my phone. We have an office down in San Diego and one in Orange County. And I got an alert on my phone the other day saying all these alerts. We have a lot of people that live in that area. We actually have a job site that burned down out there by the Pasadena area. And I know just from looking online, there's a lot of people that are down in that area that are in the community. So, man, hopefully they get that shit under control, dude. I know some firefighters from up here are going out there. Hurt Toy's brother-in-law got shipped out there the other day. He's going to be out there for probably 2 weeks at a time, and then maybe a little bit of a break. But it's a bad situation, man. Anytime that you get fire in grasslands and wooded areas like that, and then the wind is what's really brutal, dude. I mean, just for perspective, the fires from me are probably 250 miles south. And the same wind that they're getting down there, we're getting up here as well, dude. I don't know what it is, but the whole state or like the whole West Coast right now is just a fucking wind tunnel for whatever reason. And it's shitty for stuff like that, especially fire season. That's usually what gets it going is wind, and it sucks, dude. So yeah, hopefully they get that shit under control. I know the weather is bad. If you guys have N95 masks left over from COVID or just in general, wear that shit when you go outside. That is not good stuff. DNS squad is on call. I would not doubt that at all, man. Yeah, hopefully John's okay, man. But yeah, oh, David Dunn says same here in Australia. Fuck, dude. I know there was, remember that fire back there a while ago, dude, that just like damn near burned the whole country. That was nuts, dude. Yeah. So sorry to be a downer about that, but I thought we should address it just real quick. Thank you, Ashley.
No, I'm glad you dropped that, man. Takes my little bitching fest for a moment and just shoves it right up my ass for a sec, right? Makes you grateful.
Yeah, it does. You know, when you see stuff like that, it really does kind of put things in perspective. Did you see the news reporter interview Steve Gutenberg and had no idea who he was? And he was sitting there saying, leave your keys in your car so someone like me can move your car to get, fire trucks out of the way. And the reporter's like, oh, okay, what's your name, sir? And he goes, my name's Steve Gutenberg. And I'm like, dude, I didn't know if that was real or not, but that was a real thing. That was odd. That was two generations clashing together. It was odd. Anyways, moving on. What else is going on, dude?
We have a fantastic guest coming in today. That's something that's going on, and we're gonna bug them a whole bunch because I think they're running on like 4 hours sleep. Oh, actually, I saw Dog Horror actually this week as well. They're popping into the chat right there, making me remember about that. Cool cat to like, oh, what's going on? But yeah, we grabbed a little coffee. We grabbed a little coffee the other day. A coffee. Yeah, I went down to the old Timmy's. A couple Canucks went and hit up the old Timmy's, eh?
Nice. Gosh, dude, who did I see the other day said they hung out with you? Who else did you hang out with recently?
Fuck. I don't know, man.
Somebody. So was it Rokamashu?
Oh, I wish, man. That would be dope. No, I haven't met up with Rokamashu, but if anybody hasn't actually checked it out, Rokamashu, I don't know why I always try and make it some kind of a weird, like, fucking one-word thing. Rokamashu is a musician as well. And they've got some fantastic work, man. On Bandcamp, they've got some great stuff out there. Well, I'm going to pull it up actually now. I've got a couple of them stuck in my head the odd time. Dude's good. But yeah, no, we've got Hijak Toys, and we're fucking terrible for this, man. The poor dude's sitting over there. He's been chilling for a minute now. Pull him in. But music of BJR. There it is. There it is. Bernie, the old Burn Dizzle.
There you go. I was gonna say you can put the link up there, and that's on. Did you say that was on SoundCloud?
Bandcamp, but I'm sure if you actually pop that into the old into Googie, it'll populate for you.
Yeah, nice.
Googadillis. Anyways,
cool, man. So I guess we'll talk about other stuff afterwards, huh?
Well, I mean, I just always feel bad, man. The guest is chilling there. We can see them. The homies watching the show don't know, but we can see them down below, and they're sitting there kind of just like, who was it? Fucking.
We're just warming up the crowd a little bit. We're warming the crowd up.
We're the fluffers. Yeah, no doubt.
Christ, the minute that came out of my mouth, I fucking knew you were going to say that. I knew it. Super Terrible Toys. What's my necklace? Thank you. I was actually going to say that. Speaking of artists down in LA, I don't know where this specific artist is, but this is from Canopic Studios. Canopic. Check them out. They got a Etsy shop. I thought they were from overseas. They're not. They're in Southern California. They do a lot of stuff like this, and then some other kind of ceramic type sculptures, but really cool shit. Really small runs of stuff, and they don't drop all that often, so probably set your alarm and try to snag one up. But yeah, thank you. It's pretty sick. It's heavy. It's very weighty. It feels durable.
You have no, man, at the pot shop, like, I honestly feel like Michael Scott from The Office, the amount of times that I know, I'm like, this is going to be a fucking HR complaint, but somebody says something exactly like you just did, and I'm sitting there just like, that's what she said, because I just can't help it, man. It hits this weird special spot in front of me. Even the other day, somebody said something just so disgusting. It was something like, oh, it's so big and everybody here can enjoy it. And I was like, and the moment it came out, I said, I'm sorry. And like, they kind of just know at this point. One of the dudes was just kind of like, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Even as I'm like, I'm sorry, guys. Like, but yeah, you're saying it's heavier than it looks and it's durable. It was hard for me not just be sitting over here just like, oh, that is certainly what she said.
Oh, yeah. All right.
Toys.
Let's go, man. So yeah, hijak85 is the guest for this week. First of all, you know what? If you're watching us on the replay, thank you for joining in. I have noticed, dude, and I'm sure you've noticed too, because we watch the YouTube numbers occasionally, just kind of see where things are going. And I think the majority of our views are after the fact. So the fact that people are tuning in to watch these is very cool. So if you're doing that, and if you're doing it on a consistent basis, thank you very much.
Yeah, never be shy to chime in. This goes for anybody, even the dudes chatting as well. But if you shoot us like hey, I'd like my giveaway in the next one, or hey, I've got a drop coming, I've got a show coming up. If you just reach out to our DMs, we'll often try and catch it and make sure we show it as well.
Future me says you're welcome from Bliss Receptor. Oh man.
Hijak is just hydrating over there. Hydration. That's what hijak stands for. Hydration Jack. You guys can't see it, but homeboy is down there just chugging away so many liquids.
It's ready to go, man. It's like you said, 2 a.m. over there, dude. Holy shit, man. There he is.
Oh, hello.
No warning.
How
Just fired you in. What up?
Morning. I almost fell asleep back there, man. Come on, kept me waiting. That's why I'm hydrating, because I'm half asleep.
Oh, well, I wasn't sure if you had water, like a protein shake and coffee going. Fuck,
Yeah, man. Yeah, come on. Let's do it.
You were telling us earlier.
Shake and coffee. There you go. Oh, man.
Yeah, it's a cup of tea, actually. It's not a coffee.
Of course.
I'm from England. It's a cup of tea.
Of course it is.
Is it that good Turkish tea? I've heard the Turkish tea is where it's at.
No, it's English breakfast. Of course it is.
Yeah, dude, there was a little bit of fucking something on that one, huh? He's like, whoa.
Come on.
Whoa. Hold up.
Don't insult our tea. Come on.
You had like the dirty diaper face on for a minute. You're like, Turkish tea? What the fuck?
What is that? What is that?
How are we doing anyway? We good?
No, the better question is, how are you doing, friend? What time is it over there for you? And what is going on?
It's 2:15. I've had about 3-4 hours sleep, but I'm buzzing. I'm glad to be here. So yeah, thank you for the invite. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, dude. Now we were talking just before you jumped on here about your regular day-to-day job, man. I don't see you yet, dude, but go ahead and tell everybody what you do in your day-to-day.
So I'm a postman, and as I was saying backstage, it's a good job to have if you're creative, because I generally finish quite early. So that opens up the afternoon for making art, making toys, whatever that might be. So yeah, that is my day-to-day job. 6 days a week, I'm a postman. So it's up to us to lose your toys and lose your parcels. It's what we do. Sorry about
that. That's got to be a fucking hard job, man. Rain or shine, fucking.
Yeah, man. Yeah. It's great in the summer, don't get me wrong, but in the winter, it's rough.
Yeah, I bet, dude. And you know what? Max hit it on the head. That's what we were talking about, man. Ordinary Toys. Also a postman over here in the city of New Jersey. I like how Crumbs fucked up right there. I just want to point that out. And like meant to zoom in, ask you a question, meant to zoom in on you, but zoomed in on himself. I was like,
I didn't spot it.
I was like, oh shit, Crumbs wants us to see a reaction real quick. That was funny. Dude, okay, so fuck, man. Going through your profile.
Oh yeah.
I mean, holy shit, dude. Like, we'll get to the last year, because I think the bulk of your work in this community, at least, has been really primarily in the last year.
Oh yeah, I only started in like March last year, so it hasn't even been a year. So
yeah, it's
I'm new. I'm a newbie, so I'm not surprised people are like, "Who the fuck is this guy? Like, why the fuck is he on here?" Because I'm a nobody. So
But see, that's what's so dope, dude, is we got you fucking early, man. We got you early.
Yeah,
Dude.
man.
If you start going through your stuff, so let's back up, dude, to the to the beginning of your of your time on Instagram. So it's roughly around 2012.
Oh God, you probably know more than me. I can't fucking remember.
Around 2012, and you have some really, I mean, it is some extremely good portrait work. What was your background before coming into Instagram and posting all this stuff?
So what was I doing back then? I was mainly into clothing, so I worked in clothing for a long time. I mean, I've always drawn, always, ever since I was a kid. Carried on drawing all through university. I didn't do it at university, but I've always drawn. And then I got a job with my brother who had a clothing, he had a clothing company who was printing embroidery. And when I took over from that, I started making my own t-shirts, and I was like, okay, cool. I need to start coming up with illustrations and coming up with stuff to print on t-shirts and hoodies and what have you. And that's kind of where it all started in terms of trying to produce stuff that I could sell. So yeah, a lot of my stuff early on was quite illustrative. And even, I can't remember what I posted back then, but there are a lot of my early illustrations and mashup stuff anyway. So, which is why when I got into toys, I kind of stuck with that theme. So yeah, that's what kind of where it started for me.
Lots of work in there, man. You can even see there's even some progressions just within the drawings there. You kind of go from some stencil work, and then you even start mixing in there's some street art stuff in there that starts popping up around 2013. So about a year later, you had some street art stuff on there.
Yeah, yeah.
You were regularly into.
Yeah, I was kind of painted at a few festivals. I used to paint on the streets and stuff and put some stuff up, but that's a young man's game, man. Really is. Staying up late, climbing buildings, climbing down onto canals, and yeah, man. So that didn't last long for me. I did like a couple of years of stuff. I was like, it's a no. So yeah, that's kind of why I got into portraits, because I was always fascinated by them, but I wasn't actually very good at them. And that's why I started doing the pencil portraits. And yeah, just like over time, just kind of forced myself to get better. And yeah, that was like my niche for a few years, man, just doing pencil portraits.
Yeah. And the street art, was that something that you were always doing before? I mean, you said that it how long did that last? Because you had the one post where, dude, and I wanted to ask you this story.
Okay.
You had a post in there that you had done a street art picture of Mickey Mouse. And then
I know where this is going.
Later, it went viral because it was mistaken for a fucking Banksy. Bro,
yeah.
Tell us that story, please.
Okay, yeah, so that's pretty mental, actually. So by the way, I'm just saying it didn't get recognised for being a Banksy because of the quality of work, because it was a pretty fucking shit stencil. I bet he was fuming. So yeah, back when I was doing bits of street art stuff, I had created like a few stencils that was based around Disney. And one of them was like, "Welcome to Dismaland." And then roll on like, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 years after that, Banksy had an exhibition in the UK called Dismaland. So the press, I'm guessing, just desperate to try and get like a preview of the exhibition, must have just put Dismaland into Google. And the only thing you'd have found was my shitty little stencil on Tumblr. And yeah, loads of like papers and magazines had like posted it as like a preview to like Dismaland. And yeah, it was mental. Like I was at work and I checked my phone at lunchtime and I fucking had like, I don't know, 20 Instagram messages, like 30 text messages, missed calls. And I was like, what the fuck is going on? And yeah, so, and like, people going nuts for this. So it got loads of reposts. So early on, on the Dismaland hashtag, even when the exhibition went live, like my post was like one of the top one. So like Banksy must have been fucking fuming. It's like this shitty fucking stencil is being like put forward as like a preview to Dismaland. So yeah, crazy day that was. Funny though, very funny.
Now at that time, were you? Because you were definitely posting some of your other work after your name got attached to that and not as Banksy. Did that give a lot of attention to any of your work that was out there? Did you see an influx in traffic?
I wish I could say yes, mate, but it really fucking didn't.
Nothing.
Otherwise, I'd still be doing it now. I'd be like, fuck the toys, I'm making street art.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, they never did. I had a few journalists message me asking about the story, but to be honest, I was just like, I was a bit embarrassed by it because it was a piece of shit like work as well. It was like one of my worst things I've ever done, and that was the thing that went viral and was on newspapers and in magazines and all this shit. Yeah, it was a bit embarrassing.
Still a great story though, man. I mean,
yeah, great story. Yeah.
Especially since you're not really doing the street art anymore. At least you can always say that your shit was mistaken for a Banksy at one point. So
yes,
than that.
Now,
God, dude. So then you start. Here's one other thing I want to talk to you about. You only posted one video of it, but you had a video in there of some drone footage when you were in Greece. Is that something that you're still doing on a regular basis?
I haven't done it for a while, but yeah, I still love flying my drone. So if I'm going somewhere new to another country, I actually used to have a lot more on there. And then when I started tattooing, the guy who owned the studio was like, "Oh man, you've got too much shit on your Instagram page. You need to get rid of it." So I took loads of it down. But yeah, man, I really enjoyed flying the drone. It's so much fun, man. I don't know. Have you ever done it yourself?
I've never done it myself, man. But it's crazy because I'm in the construction industry, and it seems like more and more footage that we see, and especially on inspections and stuff like that. It's a lot of it is drone footage,
Yeah, of course.
where you can't really get around to certain parts of the building and in areas that you want to see, especially from the exterior. So they use drones, and it's, fuck, dude, you've seen drones there. I mean, they've been in the news almost every day for the last, I don't know how long, but it's nice, dude. I mean, I've seen some of those, the drone races. I know there's a drone racing league. Those are, I can't even wrap my mind around that, to control something like that at that speed, dude. It's just
yeah. Mine doesn't go like that, by the way, because I've seen them. Mine's just like like slowly gliding around. But yeah, it's the ones that like fly through the buildings.
Yeah.
They're amazing. Like the stunt drones, and they're like going in and out of the buildings, and man, that's unreal. That is absolutely unreal.
So the last non-toy thing we'll talk about, dude, you kind of touched on it a little bit there. In 2022, I'm kind of scrolling through your shit, dude, and I'm not seeing any build up or anything or any hints of like, hey, I'm thinking about doing tattoos. Then in 2022, you start posting tattoos, and it's not like a little bullshit happy face, like, hey, look what I tried. Dude, you have some legit, that's some early tattoos.
That was it. Yeah, that was like my second or third tattoo, something like that. Yeah, that was quite early on.
And if you scroll up just a little bit, dude, like, what the fuck, dude? I mean, so this is all self-taught.
A little bit. I managed to blag myself like an apprenticeship. And like when I got into tattooing, I thought that was it, man. I thought I was going to be a tattoo artist. I thought that's it. I'm going to be a full-time artist, what have you.
Yeah.
And it just didn't quite work out. Mainly through just like time. Because I'm a postman, I finish early. I've got a young daughter, so I used to always do the school pickup. And then trying to do tattooing, you don't realize how much time goes into it. So it's not just the tattooing, it's like you're designing the tattooing, it's finding the clients and talking to the clients, and there's so much background work that goes into it. And I I found it really hard to kind of dedicate the time I need to dedicate to it, because of my daughter, really. And there was times where there was one time actually I was tattooing, and she was due to get picked up by someone, and then that person texted me saying, "Oh, I can't pick her up," and I had to fucking tell my client, "Well, I'm really sorry, I've got to go to pick my daughter up." Left her on the tattoo bed, picked my daughter up, stick her in the corner of the studio, and finish the tattoo. And that was just kind of like, oh man, maybe I'm not ready to be doing this. So yeah, that's why I pulled out of it. And to be honest, like that kind of sparked where like going into toys, because when I come out of tattooing, I was like in a bit of a bad place, man, with my art, and I thought I was almost like I'm never gonna fucking create art ever again. I'm fucking done. That was my chance to become a full-time artist, and it didn't work out. And I thought, fuck it, I blew it. And yeah, man. So I went through a bit of a dark phase with creating art, and then I tried to get back into pencil drawing, and it just didn't have that same feeling I used to get when I did it. And then another few months passed, and I was like, fuck, man, like I'm in a real bad place here. I'm missing my creative outlet. And I was probably like going into a bit of depression without really fucking knowing it. So I was like, I need to think of something. And I'd always wanted to learn to 3D model. So I did some research, and I found a program called Nomad, which I think is exclusive to iPad Pro. So I was like, oh, do you know what? I could do that, lay in bed and what have you. So yeah, I downloaded that. Hey, here we go. This is one of the first ones I did. So I did it. I learned, I did some tutorials, what have you. And then I did some time-lapse videos and put them on Instagram. And then I had a few people message me going, oh, this is really cool. Are you going to make these into figures? What have you? And I was like, I don't fucking know, man. Like, I just started doing this shit. I don't even know that's a thing. And then I did another one. It's probably there. I did the MF Doom accordion one. Yeah, this is the one. And then this is where it really kind of like sparked something in me. I was like, oh, maybe there is something here, because I literally had people messaging me going, fuck, man, make this. I want to buy it. And then I decided to do some research. Like, I didn't know this community existed. Like, I'll be totally honest. Yeah. Obviously, I knew there was designer toys because of Cause and like Brick Bear and shit like that. But then I started researching it, and I come across like Trap Toys. I come across like Delicious Again Peter, like Dano Brown, and I was like, "Fuck, man, this is amazing!" Like this like speaks to me. Like I'm a massive fan of nostalgia, and I collected some figures, but it was mainly mainstream stuff. So I had some hip hop stuff, and I had like Star Wars figures. Man, like I'm a massive Star Wars nerd, so. I did have some stuff, but I didn't realize there was this like underground like art movement. And as soon as I kind of stumbled across it and went down that rabbit hole, I was like, fucking hell, man, this is incredible. Like, how have I missed this? How have I not seen this stuff before? And that's when I put out the MF Doom accordion figure for like a pre-order. And I put like 10 or 15, I can't remember. And they sold out pretty quick, like a couple of weeks. And I was like, fucking hell, man, I've got to actually make these. And I bought a 3D printer. And yeah, just fucking went from there. And then, yeah, just had more and more ideas. And I kind of was going through like my old sketchbooks and my old notebooks. And as I said to you before, like a lot of my old illustrations and early illustrations were like mashups. So yeah, man, it was like, oh man, I've got all this stuff already that I've written down or I've got sketches of, and I can make them into 3D models. I just went from there, really. But do you know what I found really fun about it was, like I say, I'm massively into nostalgia. It was like going through all the old toys. So my favorite toys growing up were the WWF Hasbro figures. So it was like a no-brainer for me to go, I've got to fucking do the Hasbro figures, man. got to.
Absolutely. Dude, you know, one thing that I thought was interesting about it was one of the first, it was that first post that we looked at where you were doing the 3D modeling.
Yes,
but
yeah.
the caption on there says, finally finding my creative groove again.
There you go. There you go.
And I think you kind of alluded to it a little bit, where you're kind of coming out of this phase where, you know, the street art is obviously not a thing anymore. Tattoos are kind of here and gone. And then you're kind of just digging around looking for something. The other comment that you made on that first one, I don't know if it was on that. I don't think it was on that post. Might have been a different one, but it came out so good. And I think your comment was not bad for 5 days of work. You did that shit from beginning to end in 5 days, not knowing how to use Nomad, or was there a long process on how to use the program?
Actually, I did that one in about 5 hours, but I think I'd only been using the program for 5 days. What I did was, when I downloaded it, I just watched the YouTube tutorial, and I just got the basics, and I think I made 2 like shitty bang average like models to begin with, and then I was like, oh, I need to do something cool. And I was going through some old sketches. I actually went and found the sketch. Just bear with me a second. So this was the sketch that it was based on. Can you see that? Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, I was just like, oh, I need to make something a bit cooler than just a fucking blob man. I was like, I found that, and I was like, that would work well as a figure.
Yeah.
Well, I thought it'd work well as a figure. Thought it was quite cool, which is why I chose that one first.
I'm sneaking in for a second, only because I'm sorry, man. You have posting that you're using this Nomad like January 28th. It's only February 17th that you're posting fucking prototypes of backers for figures, man.
Yeah, that's it. Like wild. It did go. Yeah, man.
Dude, I actually have.
It was a mad one.
I have a timeline written down right here. January.
Fucking hell.
Modeling. February 17th, first figure backers. February 28th, first prototype figures. March 6th, first figures available, MF Doom. So you're talking about January, learning how to use 3D modeling, till the end, the very beginning of March, having a fully printed, painted, backed figure. Dude.
Yeah, I think the thing with the toys is, like, it's brought a lot of skills I've learned over the last like 20 years together. Because you know, as I say, I've worked in clothing, I've worked with like digital illustration, obviously I paint anyway. So I think it was just like bringing together a lot of different skills that I've already like picked up and like transferring them. And like with the 3D printer, I've used big machining before, like large format Mimaki printers, embroidery machines, things like that. So it wasn't really that daunting for me, like getting into it. Obviously, it is a new medium and stuff, and like learning how to transfer the paint onto the models is different to painting on a piece of paper or canvas. But I'm a quick learner, clearly.
Definitely a quick learner, man. So then, you know, just a little bit, you know, then in the next month, in April of last year, that's when you start releasing some of the WWF and hip hop figures.
Yeah.
Kind of the Hasbro figures earlier as far as the WWF and then nostalgia for you. I take it that, I mean, gosh, dude, I think so many of us had those figures. I still have the majority.
Oh, yeah, I've still got some as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So that was, I mean, that seemed like, dude, I mean, some of the names that you came up with in some of the, I can't believe that some of these hadn't been done before.
Yeah, same. I thought the same as well.
Tupac Ashongo, Slick Rick the Model, The Biggie Show, Coco Be Real. I mean, those ones, if you're into old school hip hop and old school wrestling, you're like, dude, those are brilliant. Those are fucking brilliant.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's like the Legion of MF Doom. You've got that up there. I couldn't believe that had never been done as well. Like I had to Google that shit. I was like, I don't want to fucking bite anyone's style or, you know, take anyone's ideas. So like I was like really like Googling stuff early on. Like, shit, has this been done? Has it not been done? So yeah, I had to double check.
you can tell that there's a lot of time involved in the paint apps there. I don't know how long that takes, so I shouldn't say that, but it looks like there's definitely a lot of detail in there.
Yeah.
Compared to, you know, the frustration with tattoos, where you have that whole process where, you know, that process, everything that you named in that kind of pre-tattoo stuff, I assume that you're not getting paid for, and that's part of the frustration there. Does any of that carry over to figure making when you're doing stuff like this and printing it and putting so much time in the front end and then you sell it on the back end? Do you ever think that, like, man, I need to raise my prices, or man, this isn't really worth it to me? Or does the nostalgia kind of kick in and say, man, this is so much funner than doing tattoos?
Yeah, 100%.
Worth it.
Like, I'm not doing this to make money. In fact, I don't really make much money from my figures.
Yeah.
Not when you look at how much time I put into it. As you mentioned, the paint apps, like, so look at the Legion of MF Doom figure there. They probably take me 6-7 hours to paint, maybe longer. I don't know. So, and I was selling them for 35, 40 quid. I'm not sure. But yeah, I'm not doing it to make money. I'm doing it because I actually just want to make it. And I kind of sell them so I can make the next figure. That's kind of how I price it. So it's like, if I sell this or sell these figures, then I can buy more resin, I can buy more paints, I can make the next thing, because, as you say, it's about the nostalgia. And I also want it to be accessible. You know, like, you do see, don't get me wrong, I'm not knocking any of the artists. You know, you price it however you see fit. But some of the stuff is like really, really like dear, very, very expensive. Like I mentioned, Trap Toys, unbelievable work, incredible. But like, some of his prices are just insane, man. I couldn't imagine charging like 200 quid for it. I don't know. That's just like how I feel.
Yeah,
I think it's down to the artist, like what you think your work is worth. But for me, I'd much rather it be accessible and people buy it rather than it just sit on my shelf for the next like 6 months saying, oh yeah, that's worth 200 quid. So that's kind of how I price it. It's like, sell it, make the next one. You know, I've got like books and pages of ideas and stuff I want to make. I don't want to be sitting there on models going, oh, I wish I'd sell this so I could fucking buy some more resin, you know?
Yeah. Right.
Speaking of selling it, though, people should slide over to your shop and buy some stuff.
Yeah, man. Too right. Actually, when you put your post up, I sold a couple of things. So I was like, fucking hell, this has worked straight away.
Yeah.
Glad to hear that, man. If anything, it works both ways. What I always find lovely about this community is there were people that actually commented in the post being like, I just snagged that. And it's funny because like we all like to even actually share some of the grabs we've gotten. And so it wasn't even actually like you got the win, and this other human feels like they got a win too, because like they're stoked on the piece they now have in their collection, man. And that's something that's so fucking dope about art.
Oh, definitely. And like, one thing about this community is that it's so welcoming. And I love the way that artists interact with each other. And like, going back to tattooing, a lot of artists talk behind each other's back. There's a lot of slagging off. There's a lot of like snakiness involved in that industry. Where in this community, it feels like everybody's like backing everybody. It's like, yeah, man, fucking, no, you're the best. No, you're the best. And that's what I love about it. And that's how it fucking should be, man.
I think you've also hit onto a really nice thing where, like, with the work you're doing, you mentioned early on that it's very nostalgic based. In doing that, if you liked something, there's bound to be somebody else that liked it too. And so like there's a bunch of people that they're just stoked even seeing like toys that they never would have thought would ever exist now exist because you've made it so.
Yeah, of course, man. That's one of the best things, isn't it? When you make something and people just appreciate it. Even if they don't buy it, just go, even leaving a comment going, oh fuck, that's amazing, that's so sick. That is like, that's almost as good as selling it.
Yeah. I'm sure
don't be pulling that phase.
That's got to be there. And like you said, the you know, even if you're not getting it from customers, you will always find somebody in this community, you know, that are kind of just pushing each other along. So you go from January to just starting off making 3D figures, and then you have a couple drops, and then we get into like I think May was the GI Joe show, and that was your first.
Oh yeah.
Show. So then we go GI Joe show, Mint on Card, Never Have I Ever, Shrek show. All those shows you participate in all your first, I mean, 6 to 8 to 10 months of figure making. What was your first thought when the GI Joe show came around? What made you say, I think I'm going to jump in and do this?
Well, I already had the idea. So like on my list of ideas, the Fat GI Joe was already on there. So when I saw the show, I was like, oh, that's like fucking perfect, man. I could enter that in it.
That is
I didn't know I was going to get in. I just dropped, I can't remember, whose show is that? Is that hijak85? I can't remember whose show that was. I just dropped them a message and said, oh, is there any chance I can join it? And he was like, yeah, fuck it, why not? And it was great. I got a great response, and I sold the piece straight away. And it was just really fun. And then I've just been trying to get in as many shows as I can, to be honest. So yeah, if anybody wants me in their show, then invite me, please. Shameless plug.
Super Terrible Toys said your Shrek show pieces were fire. Yes, they were. Those were awesome, man. I think you actually you're giving one of those away, or a couple of those away tonight.
Yeah, two. Yeah, got two. Yeah.
Yeah, in your giveaway. Ocular Rhombus says let's get you into Robot Resurrection, which that's coming up around Easter, man. That would be super sick to see you in that one as well.
Yeah, man.
That show last year, that was the first year of it last year, and it had some freaking killer pieces in there. That was a really cool show.
Yeah, I remember that one.
So god dang, dude, that is one busy year. Let's go back to you said that you were kind of collecting Star Wars and stuff as a kid. I know like, you know, G1 Transformer Jazz, dude, like that's your shit, right? Like, dude, that's so funny when I heard that, because Hurt Toys is, you know, my best friend on earth, and that dude is a huge jazz fan. We fucking
amazing,
bro. We laugh about it all the time. He has so many different jazz figures alone, but when I heard that, dude, I just started laughing. But GI Joes or G1 Transformers, Turtles, Ghostbusters, Visionaries, you named.
Yeah, man.
That was a fucking solid one, dude. That's one that you don't see very often.
Yeah, you don't, and like not many people actually mention it, do they? I did think that, and like, I don't think I've ever seen like a bootleg. I mean, you'll know better than me, but from what I've looked and seen so far, I've not seen anyone bootleg them.
You know,
correct me if I'm wrong.
I haven't seen. So here's the thing, man. I think I've seen that bootleg. Crumbs, you may know this as well too, dude. I want to say that somebody cut off the top half. I want to say like from the torso up, and may have casted that. I do have one piece from maybe Ocular Rhombus, or maybe it was Neon, Retro Zone Neon. Somebody, I do have one, but I think it might just be an old Visionary that they custom painted. But besides that, I have not seen anything. But Visionaries, dude, that was one that I liked when I was a kid, and I just, when I heard you say that, I was like, oh shit, dude, I haven't thought about that in fucking days.
Oh man, how good were they with like the hologram staff?
So cool.
Oh, fucking brilliant. Yeah, definitely, man. Mask was another one.
Mask. Oh, dude. Fuck.
Yeah.
Dude, that's
Mask.
where, and you know what, for me, dude, with Mask, it was the vehicles. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't really like the scale because it was that smaller than 3.7.
Very small.
Yeah, and those were always a bitch. I always lost the helmets and everything, but
yeah.
For that, I mean, you had the semi truck, the fucking motorcycle, helicopter.
That was the one. That was my favorite one.
Sick, dude.
Yeah, class. Do you remember the cartoon? Do you remember watching the cartoon?
Absolutely.
So the intro is like my favorite 80s cartoon intro. Like the song, and it's got that fucking wicked robot voice. Me and my brother used to fucking love that. Remember the voice? You know, when like the helmets come down.
Absolutely.
You know, Codename Condor and all that shit. You fucking love it.
Crumbs. Soundbite of that, dude. Please get us that. Hey, dude, real quick, let's talk about that tin Boba Fett behind you. People in the comments are geeking out on that shit, dude. Tell us about
This
that.
one.
Yes.
I don't know. I don't even know where I bought it from. It's like it's a twisty one, so you wind him up, and he goes. It was a bargain. That was like a £3 bargain from somewhere. I couldn't even tell you where I bought it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's cool, isn't he? I like him.
It is cool. Dude, the other thing that I'm noticing behind you, dude, I'm looking at ODB, I'm looking at the two Ghostface, I'm looking at the Biggie, the Jimi Hendrix, the Czarface Ultimate, which I have. Bro, I'll tell you what, man, I ordered that thing and it took me over a year to actually get that thing in hand. I don't know what the deal was. I think they changed
same thing.
Yeah, I think they
I had
changed
the same thing.
times. Actually,
I've actually got two. Because they sent me the first one. They sent me the first one. It was battered. It was mashed, and I thought, fucking hell! Like I waited fucking ages for this. Paid like £80, and it's turned up battered. And they sent me another one, so I've got two.
Nice.
Yeah, nice.
So, are you still collecting those?
Yeah, I've got the noir one on the way as well. The black one. That's due anytime soon. Yeah, I love the Super 7 stuff, man. I mainly get the hip hop stuff. So yeah, man, I love the Czarface, and they are amazing, aren't they? But the detail and all the bits in it, oh my god. I'm just too scared to take it out.
Yeah, no, I hear you, man. But with the hip hop figures in general, I think I'm the same way with Super 7, dude. I think the majority of stuff that I have is the hip hop stuff. It seems like they're coming out with more and more of it.
Yeah.
But for me, I think it's, and I think you're probably the same way, where yes, it's a clean figure. Yes, it's cool because it's a figure of this person. But I think what the real catch is that there's a connection with the nostalgia to the music, and the music is such a big part of nostalgia, I think, for everybody. That's what it does for me, man. What is it for you that kind of keeps you?
Yeah, very, very similar. I like the Ghostface ones are great because they're like replicating what he was wearing in the videos and stuff. So yeah, same thing is like remembering those old music videos and being like, oh fuck yeah, man, like I remember that shit. Like this one, this is probably like one of my favorite Wu-Tang tracks, the Can It Be So Simple one.
Yeah,
I love that one. I couldn't believe, because I did a Ghostface one for Mint on Card, and I did the Iron Man mashup with it, and I was so surprised that hasn't been done before. I've actually got it right here, the little figure. So that was my version.
Clean.
The thing that got me was like, so this is their version, which is nice. But I actually think my likeness is a bit better.
I think it is.
Just saying, Super 7, hook me up.
I'll come
and do some sculpting.
I think Ghostface would probably appreciate your version a little bit better too, man. You got him all.
Yeah, definitely.
Check that out.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, very, very cool. Dude, now let's talk about just kind of being a new artist. Like you said, dude, you haven't even been in this thing, just not even a year yet. What challenges are you coming across as a maker so far? Is it ideas for figures or products? What challenges are you running across?
I'll tell you what the biggest one for me is blisters. Trying to get hold of good blisters, man.
Yeah,
I know that you've got loads in America. I see them on Etsy and they're dirt cheap, but to ship them over here costs a fortune. And there's no one in the UK that actually makes good blisters, man. So that is like one of the most annoying things. And I ship some from China, but you never know how long they're going to take. And that's one of the most annoying things for me. With making toys is trying to find some good fucking blisters, man.
Yeah.
And that are cheap.
I noticed on some of your very first pieces, dude, you were using the bubble at the end, but you had them magnetized on there.
Yeah, I've been that off pretty quickly, man.
Yeah.
Do you know what it was? I sold one to a guy. I think it was the Mace Windu or the Meth Windu one.
Mm.
And he messaged me a few days later saying, "Oh, it's broke. The toy's broke." I'm like, "What the fuck are you on about? The toy's broke?" It was like strapped in with the twisties and what have you. And what had happened was he took the twisties off and then put it on his shelf, and he'd fallen forward and knocked the blister because it's only magnetized, so with a bit of force, so it fell and smashed. And I was just like, "Do you know what? That's going to be an issue, man. That's going to be an issue." So I tend to use the clamshell ones now that you can open.
Yeah,
that works so much better. So for the I know we're getting onto the giveaways later, but like on the Shrek ones,
yeah.
it's got like the clamshell, so you can
Oh, nice.
so you can take them out, and that way it fits nice and securely back on. So
Gotcha.
yeah, I tend to try and use those now, because I know that some people do want to take them out. So it is nice, which is what was good with the magnets. But yeah, man, after that, I was like, fuck it, man, it's not worth it.
Yeah, man, there's a lot of options out there. What I like about your style is that you do have that removable piece. So you can kind of display them separately if you want. Sometimes it's all about the backer, and you don't want to take it out. And I have plenty of those too. But
Yeah.
you're right, dude. When it comes to blisters, there's a lot of different options. There's a couple of people in the comments talking about making your own blisters with a vacuum.
Yeah.
Have you looked into that at all?
I have, but yeah, I know the machinery is quite expensive. But if you've got any shortcuts, then please drop me a message and inform me, educate me on blisters, man, because that is my downfall, definitely.
Yeah, or if anybody has any suppliers out that way for blisters that you know of, to help cut down on some shipping. The shipping is always, I mean, even in the States and outside of the States, international, it's fucking crazy. But anytime that anybody can help on some shipping, that's always cool. Yeah, vacuum machine if possible. Yeah, store-bought ones are way overpriced from what FKD says. Adam said video on refurbing his vacuum form he made. Huh. Okay. Dude, so being into this for about a year, you said that right away you noticed there was something kind of unique about this, that really on a bunch of different levels for you. Being in for it, not even for a year yet, man. It's kind of a vague question, but how is it going up to this point, and where do you see yourself in just, let's say, short term, man, even the next 5 months?
Okay, so I've got a few figures coming up, which is along the same lines of what I've been doing for the last year, kind of hip hop based and what have you. And then in the background, I'm looking at ways I can elevate and ways I can change. So I've started investing in like some sound chips and speakers. I'm gonna try and start bringing them into either the toy or the backing card or both. So yeah, just looking at ways that I can just improve what I'm doing, and I don't want to like just keep doing the same. I want to like try and up my game. I did do a little bit of articulation, and I did some on the Hasbro stuff, and generally it was okay. But that's something that I want to look at, is trying to get some better articulation in my toys. So yeah, it's just like improving, just learning and improving, and seeing how I can take my stuff to the next level. I did see, you might remember who it was now. They did some Star Wars figures, and they had the LCD screen in the background. Yes. And it was like playing a clip of the film. Do you remember who that was? I can't remember who it was. And I saw that and I was like, that was fucking amazing. So that was like, that just like, ping, give me a little light bulb. I was like, yeah, okay. There's different levels to this, and I can improve on what I'm doing. And I don't want to just keep staying like banging out the same stuff all the time. Like I want to try and improve. Like I've only really done one like Motu scale figure, so probably do some bigger ones as well. Yeah, I did the Skeletor. So yeah, man, like just trying to improve and keep banging out some fire. And yeah, man. One thing that one thing that people kept asking me for was a Jay Dilla figure. So that's what I'm working on at the moment.
Nice.
That was my most requested figure. So
nice. Yeah, dude, I can't think of anybody else who's done one of those. I'm thinking of a couple other people. You mentioned Delicious Again, Peter. There's also Hip Hop Figures. That's Lee. He's a great dude, man. They've done a lot of collabs too.
Yeah, he reached out to me actually. It was after, it might have been after the Shrek show.
Yeah,
he dropped me a message. It was like we had a little interaction. He was really sweet, and he was like, "Oh man, your stuff's really sick," and blah blah blah. So that was like really nice of him to like reach out, and he's like, "Oh, if you've got any questions or any advice, then just shoot them over." Which again goes back to what I was saying about this community. You know, it's amazing. Like he's top of the game. You know, hip hop toys. He's doing stuff with the artists and what have you, and he took the time to drop a fucking nobody like me a message to say, "Hey man, if you need any advice, just fucking drop me a message." And I love that. Absolutely love it. That's how it should be, but it's not like that in every community.
You're right, dude. And I think that's kind of the consensus from a lot of people who have said they are part of other communities or have been, or maybe they even currently are, is that there's something unique about this one where you have that kind of, just ask me and I'll tell you kind of attitude for a lot of people. And I think that's what, kind of keeps a lot of people coming back. One thing about Hip Hop Toys, man, you know what I noticed about him, dude? It's like they do a lot of like it's almost purely hip hop stuff, right? But it's not like I don't even know how to describe it, man. It's not like crazy mainstream stuff, dude. You got like Cool Keith, Master Ace, Cormega.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Where it's stuff where you got to dig a little bit, dude. Like you're not going to hear those dudes on the radio every day, even back in the day. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he did a Charlie Tuna piece, and like I fucking love Jurassic 5, and not many people, I think they're so underrated, like especially in the UK, not many people talk about him. You say fucking Jurassic 5, they're like, who the fuck is that? And Charlie Tuna is one of my favorite MCs. He's got that baritone, like unmistakable voice. And when I saw that, I was like, oh man, that is super dope, man. And he was selling some signed ones as well.
Yeah.
And I'd love to have picked one up, but I didn't have the opportunity. I missed out.
Oh man. Yeah, that'd be sick, dude. I mean, there's not a whole lot of people out there that I think you said Trap Toys, dude. Holy crap. You ever seen Trap Toys on the resale market? I mean, just straight up is and maybe you've mentioned, here's something that's interesting, dude. You mentioned you wanted everything to be accessible, and dude, that's I'm all for that, dude. You know what I mean? Like the more people that can afford to buy one of your pieces, that's cool. What's crazy about Trap Toys is not only are they on the extreme higher end, but those things sell so fucking fast, dude. You know what I mean? Like when I first started looking around, I'm like, oh, I want a chance to get one of these, so I'm gonna get on their newsletter so you can like get, whatever. It's 10 minutes earlier than everybody else. It doesn't It doesn't matter. When you get there 5 seconds afterwards, and it's too late. And then you go on the secondary market and like you look at those Heezy E's and some of the older stuff like that, bro. Those are like 350, 320, 300. That's crazy. That's crazy.
I know, mate. I know. There's a guy who's bought quite a lot of my stuff, and I chat to him quite regularly. He's in the States as well, and he buys like all the Trap Toys stuff, and he's part of the the newsletter and what have you. And he was saying, you've got to be super quick now. You've got to like set alarms and fucking all sorts, man. It's like you're buying a pair of Jordans or something. It's like fucking mental.
Yeah, it's crazy. And it's crazy that they do, like I said, the price point, and then they sell out as fast as they do. But
I mean, he's making.
Oh, dude,
he's making Benjis.
And that's what's crazy, right? Is like you look at some of these artists that do regular drops, and then you kind of multiply what they're making per figure versus their run, and then how often they're doing it, and you're like, I mean, you just do the quick mental math, and you're like, man, I think it's very few, but there are people out there that are making an extremely good living off of doing this.
Like Trap Toys, he released the Alchemist toy. I think that was his last big drop.
Yeah,
and I think it was about 80 figures maybe, and what they were about 180 quid each. I mean, as you say, do the maths. It's like, I mean, I'm guessing he probably gave Alchemist like a percentage, but there you go. But yeah, he's making some serious dough.
Yeah,
Definitely.
man.
I mean, it is a great piece.
Good quality too, man. You can tell just by just from that little flip right there how thick that backer is.
Yeah. I know he outsources his backers.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
He gets them pretty professional.
Is that something that you've ever considered, man, or do you pretty much want to do things 100% on your end, from the card to the blister to the figure to the paint, everything, or do you ever think of outsourcing like he did the card?
I think if the demand was there, but like I struggle to sell like 2 of something, so like fuck it, I'm making it myself. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, man, if like the demand was there and I was gonna make 50 of them, yeah, fuck that. I'm not making 50 backers.
Well, especially if you're talking about, adding speakers and music and stuff like that, man. I mean, that's no easy task. I mean, I know you can get that in like greeting cards and stuff like that. I would assume it's something kind of similar to that. But still,
yeah, very similar.
That's definitely something unique, and I'm sure would take some time. So, dude, I mean, God, it feels like it's almost too early to ask, but are you? You haven't even been in this a year. Dude, where do you see this thing going? We talked kind of short term, 5 months, but in a perfect world, let's talk about January 26th. What would January 26th like and be a success for you?
Oh, that's such a good question. Do you know what? Like, what I'd love to be able to do this year is probably like do some collabs with some other artists. Really, that'd be like really sick, man. Hook up with some other artists and do some stuff. But in the long term, what do I want from it? Yeah, it'd be nice to be like, to be honest, it'd be nice to make enough money to cut down my 6 days of being a postman. So if I could cut down and do like even like 3-4 days as a postman and a couple of days making toys, like I'm living the dream. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, just being able to kind of wind down, work and do some fun work would be good. But one thing that, and I noticed with my tattooing, I noticed when I did my portraits and I used to do commissions, is that sometimes it takes away the fun and you don't enjoy it when there's pressure on you. And it's like, fuck, I've got to make some money, and I don't ever want to lose that like fun aspect to this. And it's been like one of the best things about it is that I found it really fun and it's like invigorated me and it's given me a lift, and I don't want to lose that, and I don't want to get to a point where I don't want to do it. So I want to be careful about how much pressure I put on myself, and I want to make sure I'm doing it for the right reasons, and yeah, man, just having fun with it. But yeah, that'd be great if I could cut down working and make some money doing toys. And yeah, like I'd love to do some collabs this year. That'd be fucking awesome.
Dude, I think what's very cool about what you just said too, man, is, you're not asking for the world right away. You're not asking to say, hey, man, I wish I could sell a ton of these things and then just do this, full time. I think that would be, that's a very, I think, legitimate, achievable short-term goal, is to say, hey, maybe I can shave a couple days off my regular job and do this. If I can just find, kind of a consistent flow to this. Let's say that you did do that and it did turn into something even bigger, man. Is that something that you'd be interested in, where, I mean, obviously at that point you might have to get other people involved, like we were just talking about, maybe subbing out some of that work. Is that something that you'd be interested in? I mean, Max says hired at Super 7 would be awesome. Of course. Jacob, what's going on, man? Neckrath is asking a question about the Scooby-Doo figure and Flintstones mashup art that you drew. Have you ever considered turning that into a toy? That's
I think he mentioned that in his I'd say, like, I've got lots of old mashup illustrations and drawings, and I would like to make them into toys. So I've got plenty of ideas, and there's plenty of things to do. There's almost not enough time, isn't there? That's half the problem, especially when you work 6 days a week. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, man, like that would be something that would be a really cool toy. That was actually, I really enjoyed that illustration. Man, you guys are going way back. I've forgotten I did half this shit, man.
Dude, and that's what I always tell you, and that's really the easiest question of the trivia question is just to name. It's not even a question, right? It's just name something from the artist. But I think, especially for newer artists and stuff, I think it's a really good chance and an easy way for people who aren't familiar with you to jump in there and kind of scroll back. What I always like doing is scrolling back as far as I can, just to see if I can see what it started out as and maybe where the change was, if there was something that led you into toys. Yours is very different though, man. Like you have a bunch of different mediums in there, and it's like one medium, boom, something else. Same one, same one, boom, something else. And it's like you just, and I don't even want to say with you that it's, I mean, I think it's definitely growth, because I think what you're doing is you're combining a lot of like your previous art stuff, your paint skills. Now it's all kind of coming together in a figure, and then your end product where you have the backer and the painted figure and everything. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know what the point of that was, but
I think I know what the point was. I think the point was, are you going to get bored and fucking move on to something else? just say it, man. Just say it. To be honest with you, like, I do feel a bit different about the toys. And I guess it's easy to say that because I'm doing it now and enjoying it. Whether something else comes along, I don't know. Do I get bored easily? Yes. But I am loving it. And as I say, like, nostalgia's massive to me. And I think the mashups that I do, it's feeding my imagination, which is kind of where my old illustrations come from. It's all about, like, I have these images in my head and these ideas, and it's a way to get it out. And the good thing about the toys, you can hold it. It's something real. Where sometimes when it's just a drawing on a bit of paper, it just goes into a folder and you never fucking see it again. Yeah. So, like, the making of the toys is great, and I say I love this community. Everybody's been very welcoming, and supportive. Like yourselves, like, I mean, it's mad that you've invited me on here. If you'd told me this a year ago when I first started, that I'd be sat here like on a podcast talking to you about making toys, I'd told you to fuck off. But yeah. So it's been an amazing journey, really, for the year, and I'm super humbled by it, to be honest. Yeah, it's great. Yeah. I do want to show you something. I was on about making t-shirts and what have you. When I was going through, I carry this folder, and it's just got like 20 years worth of like drawings and prints and what have you. And when I was doing t-shirts, I had my main selling t-shirt was it was like Edward Scissorhands as a DJ, and I found the print. I'll just show it you in one sec. Oh, you might have seen it. It might be on my Instagram. I don't know, but I found a print of it.
Oh. Did you say you made
that? Was like.
Did you say you made that into a shirt, or you're gonna make that into a shirt?
Yeah, no. That was like my #1 selling t-shirt. I could sell them like all day. I used to sell loads of them.
Dude.
Yeah, that was like my #1 design.
That's great. That's
probably like 15, 20 years old, that design. Like, I did that.
Shit.
In my early 20s, yeah.
Are you still making t-shirts at all?
Nah, not really.
Yeah. That's a great one.
I used to do it because I had my business. So before I was a postman, I was in the clothing industry, and I had my own business, and I did print and embroidery. So, I mean, I did it for like sports clubs and like hen parties and like businesses and what have you, like workwear and what have you. But on the side, because I already had the equipment, it made sense to like make my own stuff, and it was like a little side hustle. Like, I had like a little clothing label and stuff, and I used to go to markets and sell t-shirts and all that shit. But now I don't have it, and I'm not involved in it. Do you know what? It's a big outlay. The margins are small. Like, when you're doing it for a job and you've got access to the prints and what have you, and like all like the trade prices with the clothing and the blanks, you can make some good money. But when you're out of it and you're paying someone to make it, and then you're trying to sell it for even more. And there's, you know what, there's so many people that do it now. There's like thousands of like independent labels, and yeah, man. Nah.
Yeah, dude. I mean, with places like T Public and places like that, man. I mean, I think anybody can just throw a design on a shirt and get it up there. And a lot of the artists, even the artists in this community, there's a lot of them that have T-shirts on their site that don't necessarily advertise them, but you go to their links and you see that they've made a few T-shirts. But I think you're right, dude. I think that's an important part of it, is to really start making the money. You got to own the equipment, and with shirt making equipment, I know if you're making it on a on a large scale, that equipment is not small, man. And who has room to get all that shit plus the time to do it? I mean, you're basically trying to become a T-shirt shop.
Yeah.
So, dude, we should probably get into your giveaways, dude. Do you want to show us? We got two giveaways, two pieces in each pack. What do you got there?
So I think the first one was that was Last of the Mohicans, this one. So that's a 3.75 scale. This one doesn't have the clamshell. This one is actually slipped down. So we've got that one, and so that was giveaway one, I think. Is that right?
Yeah, we put them together in a bundle. I can't remember what.
Yeah.
What,
So that was giveaway one. So you've got.
Nice. Now, are these figures ones that you 3D printed?
Yeah. So everything, I've 3D printed all my stuff.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, I'd love to learn how to do the casting and stuff, but do you know what? I'm probably the world's messiest fucking artist, so I'd probably just ruin my flat. So like that's kind of why I stayed away from it. Like my 3D printer, I can put on a desk, and I can keep all my shit on a desk, and it keeps my mess just on my desk. But I think if I got into casting and molding, and I had fucking molds here, and I was pouring here, I'd just fucking have shit everywhere, man. So
that's something that's appealing to you, is that we see artists' workspace all the time, and sometimes when they're just what you said, the molding, the casting. I mean, I think a number of people in the room can probably think of what their workspace looks like, and the resin and the pressure pot and the molds, all that shit all over the place. When it comes to that, are you just looking at that and saying like, no, I'm not doing that?
Like I would love to. I would find it like really fun, and I'd love to learn to do it. And maybe one day, if I've got the space, if I had like my own little studio, I would. But I kind of work out my flat, and yeah, man, I would ruin it. I would get shit everywhere.
Yeah.
You want to see me work, man? Like I've got like a small desk, and I somehow just managed to get shit everywhere. In fact, I look at it right now, and it's disgusting. So yeah, maybe one day. Maybe one day. Anyway,
and the room is always an issue too, man. Some people have huge workspaces, but anyways, bundle number 2. What do you got there?
So we got Gingerbread Man. So these are the Shrek pieces, and then we've got Old Donkey Bastard.
Nice.
And yeah, these come with like the clamshell ones, like I was saying earlier. So you can take the figure out. There's little Gingerbread Man. And then clamshell. So that's giveaway 2. And they're all signed. They've all got little stickers on, numbered, what have you. And so these are Shrek show pieces, so I've mentioned that on there as well. So yeah, we're good to go. I've actually got a bonus prize as well. I said to Ryan Lidner. How do you say it? Ryan Lidner.
Ryan Lidner. Yeah.
Yeah. So he put something about Freddy to Die on the post, the giveaway post. So I said to him, because he messaged me going, "Oh, like good luck, looking forward to it, what have you?" And I said to him, "Look, man, if you win, I'll give you the Freddy to Die." So if Ryan Littner gets the win today, he gets the Freddy to Die as well. So I promised it to him.
That's awesome, man.
So there we go.
Linder's a great dude, man. He's a hell of a and he's a great supporter of the scene just in general, man. So what up, Lintner. You know, the one thing I wanted to just circle back on real quick was a note for you from Sir Collect a Lot. Can I get on your collab list, Hijack? So hit up hit up Sir Collect a Lot when you get a chance.
Yeah, well, we've had a bit of a conversation over the last day, actually. He seems like a cool guy, and his stuff's like fucking hilarious, man. So that'd be a cool collab.
Oh, dude, great dude, and he's really got something going on with that other site. I need to jump into that, man. But there's another site that
yeah, he messaged me about that.
Yeah, I think a district is what it's called, and I think it's going to be really cool, man. It looks like a really good spot for kind of an artist marketplace, so to speak. So if you guys haven't checked out District, check that out, or jump on Sir Collect a Lot's page. I know that he had done there was a meeting that they had done a Zoom meeting with Yucko Toys and some other folks. So anyways, let's spin the old wheel, man. So we got 2 for sure, possibly 3. If Mr. Lintner wins. Okay.
Yeah, man.
Perfect. Crumbs, how many did we get in the old giveaway tonight?
I think we got 30 with Dirty Yeti being the last one there.
30 with the Dirty Yeti being the last one. Sir Collectlot, I just saw your comment, Tony the Hawk. That was a great character, dude. I do want to ask you about that as soon as we wrap this up here. So this is going to be for the first bundle for the last of the Mohicans and the Slash. Good luck, everybody. Number 16.
Hobo Toys.
Hobo Toys.
Nice. I actually won one of his. I've got him on the shelf, so that's quite nice.
Oh, nice. That's right, dude. It was that orange box.
Yes. Yeah. It's fucking my daughter. I showed my daughter, and she was just like, couldn't get her head around it, but I love it. It's great.
That's awesome, man. Hobo Toys comment was the drawings are some next level shit. I hadn't scrolled back that far before. Those were really cool to see. I agree. If you haven't scrolled back on Hijack's page to the beginning, do yourself a favor and do that. So very cool, man. Congrats, Hobo Toys, on that one. Spin number 2. This one's going to be for the Bread Man and the Old Donkey Bastard. These were the 2 carded pieces from the Shrek show that just happened recently. Good luck, everybody. Jabba the Hutt Man Heart, dude. People love that one. I saw that one.
I know, right? Yeah. To be fair, I love that one as well. That's fucking cool.
That is cool. Number 26. Mr. Westerman.
I'm glad you tackled that. I was trying to read that like a fool, and I was like, Mr. Wrestleman?
I don't know if I'm familiar with that one. Mr. Westerman, if you are watching or if anybody knows who that is, please send us your name and address to either my personal account or to the show account or to Crumb's account for that matter. Their comment was Hulk Yoda all day, every day. That is rad. I agree. Hulk Yoda. So Ryan Lintner, you did not win. Which is okay because Ryan Lintner's collection is off the hook. I know you just snagged some of those Skull Crushers. I saw them before they went out in there.
I've got one of those. I've got one there somewhere.
Is it the teal one back there? I thought I spotted that back.
Yeah.
Nice, dude. I like that one. Yeah. Dude, if I said that this last year was busy for you, I think that would be probably the fucking understatement of the year, man. It has been absolutely full force for you since looks like January of last year when you first started kind of messing around. It looks like things are picking up speed, especially because of the 3D printing. You're on the hunt for some more bubbles. If things work out in a perfect world, man, what's the next thing on your plate? I did see something on your page that you had done a run of figures for somebody, and it was around 60 figures. Is that
that was
into?
That was mental.
Yeah. Did you get help for that one, or was that all you? All you? Oh shit. That's a lot of work, dude.
Oh man, that was a tough week.
Yeah.
Did you see the figure?
I did see the
Did you
figure.
see the figure?
I did see the figure. And doing that 60 times, that's the funny part about it, dude.
Yeah, I mean, I painted 60 little dicks, basically, is what I painted.
You know what was so funny on there, dude? I saw that, and I think that was from like August of last year, right? And
yeah, that's right. Yeah,
I see the first fucking comment on there. Who was it from? Fucking Crumbs, dude. That's the first
was
one.
it?
On the production
Amazing.
one. But yeah, dude, that's I mean, it I would say, I think you probably already answered it, dude, but doing, high number runs like that, that's got to be tough, dude. Is that something that you'd ever want to get into?
Yes and no.
Yeah.
Like, it was a good challenge. That's what it was. And like, because of my production background, I was like, I just went into full production mode. Like, just broke it down as simple as I could.
Yeah.
Like print, sand, prime, and then base layer. And it was just literally like ching, ching. And yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say it was the most fun I've had making toys, but it was an experience. And yeah, like, I mean, it was too good to refuse, man. 60 toys. I was like, fuck it, man, let's go for it.
Yeah.
And it was a nice little money earner, I can't complain too much. They obviously didn't pay like top dollar for it, but yeah, I made a decent amount of money from it, and it was a tough week. I timed it so I had a week off work, so I literally fucking for the whole week just smashed it.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was a funny figure to do.
Yeah,
it really was.
That's funny, man.
Do you know who that guy is? Do you know who that guy is?
I don't.
Yeah, so he's like a pioneer for body piercing in the UK. Yeah, he was a tattooist as well. So he was like a big figure. So that it was for a piercing board. This was they were having like a big conference, and that was a giveaway for their members. And I thought, oh, this is fucking great. I'm gonna have like 60 people getting one of my toys, and yeah, I'm gonna get loads of Instagram, lots of social media stuff, and literally not one person posted it.
Oh.
I was like, fuck you now. But that's the way it goes, That's the way it goes.
And that's I mean, shit. At least you know that there's 60 of them out there. You know what I mean? And if your name's on it, you never know where that can go, down the road. Maybe somebody looks you up and it leads to something else, man. Who knows? But I had that. Yeah, they know who he is.
I've got a question for you.
Yes, sir.
So, like, one of my biggest bugbears, just in general, not just about toys, just like if you're a creator or creative, is making content. How do you feel about making content? Do you enjoy it, or do you find it kind of a little bit soul destroying?
I think it's twofold for me, man. I think the process of making the content I really like. I like joy. I like to write just in general. I like trying to put together videos and stuff like that. Even though I'm horrible at it, I'm really using, my own pictures from my iPhone and then an app where you put shit together, and to really use those things how they're supposed to be. To get some really cool shit, you really got to dig into them. I don't really have time for that. So I just kind of use the basic shit. That being said, what I don't like is the results that you don't get in social media. We are only using one outlet right now, per se, pretty much just Instagram. But I don't like the time and then what we're getting on the back end. And I'm sure it's for the same for artists as your pieces as well. Like you just said, dude, you did a run of 60 pieces and not one person posted it. And I'm not looking for likes or anything like that, but I think the growth of our account is dreadfully slow. If I could change that, I would change that. And you would like to think that the more content that you put out and the better content that you put out, that would have something to do with it. And I'm just not convinced that that's the case,
I totally agree.
Yeah.
Like you mentioned, like my account goes back to like 2012, you say?
Yeah.
2012. So like my account's been going pretty much 13 years, and well, I've got like 1,500 followers, and it's just like insane, man. Like fucking hell, it's a long old slog. And then you get some fucking kid who just gets a Barbie and goes blah 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 blah, and they've got like 1 million followers. And it's like,
It's
so
crazy.
yeah, like I find like content creation quite like soul destroying. And I'm like you, I'm not like necessarily after likes. I want organic likes. I want organic interactions with people. And I'd much rather only have like 5 likes if it's 5 people who like genuinely like it. But yeah, there's times where you just think, fucking hell, is it all worth it?
Yeah, and you know, I think and it's probably the same for a lot of people, dude. I think, you know, the harder that you try and the less results that you get, or you get the same results over and over again, even when you do try to switch it up, it gets frustrating, dude. And it gets to the point where you're kind of like what you just said. You're like, dude, why am I doing this? You know what I mean?
Mm.
And it's not, obviously there's no money coming out of it, but you just kind of try so many different things and then none of them end up working. And I mean, you just kind of run into a wall and you're like, fuck, I don't know. I wish I had the answer, man. I wish I had the answer for everybody on how to like post.
I know you're right.
You know what's weird, dude, is so take this for instance. So Tycho's Tacos, Fletch, he did a video one time where he was unmolding something. Now he doesn't even really make pieces you know, on a regular basis. He does some 3D printing and stuff, but he had poured a skull at one point and just did him pulling the skull out of the mold. And that thing in 15 minutes had like, it was a reel, had like 35,000 views. Now, how the fuck does that happen? You know what I mean? So you try to duplicate it, right? And the next one has less than 100 views.
Yeah.
So I think that's the frustrating part, where I think it's a mystery for everybody on how does it work, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. I think even the people who run it, they probably couldn't even tell you how it works. They don't know.
Yeah, that's normally the way, to be fair.
Yeah. And Dre says, just make art and share what you share when you can. Yeah, dude. I think.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah. But yeah, dude, I think that's one of the frustrating parts for that. I mean, we talked about it a couple of weeks ago, where you have, you know, the art making side, and then you have the whole marketing side, which is it's a whole nother thing, dude. It's almost, you have to be a whole nother person and put on a different hat, right? And say, okay, I'm a marketer now, and how am I going to, you know, market this to the masses, or to at least get people to take a look and say, hey, what is that? Who is that? You know?
Yeah. Going back to one of your questions you said earlier, where you said if you got bigger or you could outsource stuff, what would you outsource? And it probably would be fucking social media. I fucking hate it, man. Like, this is great, don't get me wrong. Like, this is one of the positives, like meeting other artists and getting on platforms and stuff, and that's amazing. But I do find, as you say, like the content creation, you can make the best video in the fucking world and you get 40 views, and then some fucking douchebag puts out some shitty fucking video. It's got like 2 million views, and it's just like, why? Like, I don't get it. I don't get why. And like, your page should be absolutely flying. And yeah, it's a frustrating thing.
It's always fun when you drop something and then lose followers. When you release like a new post and you just see like 3 drop off, you're like, well, okay, I guess you only wanted to hear about dicks and weed, not toys. My bad.
Yeah, right. But you know, I think that's a very interesting answer, dude, because that's one that I didn't even consider. Is, you know, if you wanted to outsource something, and outsourcing the social media. And now that I think about it, I think a majority of artists would probably say that same fucking thing. I know for me, that's what I would do. You know, for our show, I would say somebody else take over this and make it work. You know, show me some growth in what we're doing, or don't show me some growth and just take it over and keep doing it.
Yeah.
But
for sure, you know, man.
That's the hard part, I think, about just the community in general, man, is that, you know, a lot of people are doing this solo, like yourself. You know, you don't have a partner that is working there side by side with you. I think there's very few people that do have that, where they have 2 people that are actively working, putting in as much time as the other person. working together. So it does become a one-man show. And then next thing you know, now you're a banker, you're a marketer, you're an artist, you're a painter, you're customer service, you're everything that, making it entails, right? It's just, fuck, it would be frustrating, bro. I can't imagine. I'm only dealing with like half of what you deal with. Not even that, probably, dude. It's just, but here we are a year into it, dude, and you're going, you're strong, you know what I mean? And it seems like it's getting better and better.
Yeah, look, believe me, I'm not complaining. As I say, like, it's amazing that I'm on a show talking about toys, and I'm barely a year into it. So, yeah, I'm not necessarily complaining. I just find it a slog, man. I just find social media, just in general, a bit of a slug, with generally very little reward. This is obviously one of the rewards, but it doesn't always go that way. And I love the making the toys, and I just hate the bit after, like trying to get a good photo and trying to write a good post. And yeah, I just find that probably the hardest part. The rest the bit before is so enjoyable, and then that last little bit of trying to get a good photo and trying to make it cool and trying to make it, appeal or go to the algorithm or whatever. That's the hardest bit, man.
Is Instagram the only outlet that you're using right now?
It is, yeah. I do sell on eBay as well, but yeah, generally just Instagram.
Yeah, gotcha.
In terms of social media.
Have you considered using anything else at all, or have you ever looked into anything else?
I got TikTok because my daughter told me TikTok's the one, but I found it even more soul destroying. Yeah, so I don't know, man. I think once you get to a certain age, it's just can't be asked with it. I just don't think it's for us. Do you know what I mean? Like, TikTok isn't for our generation. It's not made for us. It's almost like listening to new music. It's not made for us. It's made for the younger generation. It has a target audience. So yeah, I just don't really get TikTok.
Well said, dude. I'm going to make sure that my kids definitely know that comment that you just said. The new music out there, it's just not made for us. You're right, dude. It's
really not.
I should stop complaining, because you're right. It's just not made for us. It's not. It's made for a younger crowd.
Yeah.
Receptor, I totally caught your sarcasm coming across in that. You only posted 5 times in 2024. That was actually very funny. Dude, on that note, is there anything else that you want to get out there before we boot you on out of here?
I don't think so, mate. No, not unless there's any.
There he is.
Right.
There he is, man.
It wasn't being a complete. We've talked. I tried. We got to. If I don't,
I had the perfect comment to end it on. Here it is. I'm going to give it to you right now. All right. So go buy hijak85 stuff. Here's a quote from hijak85. Thanks for the support. Without it, I will have to go back to drawing people's dogs and dead grandparents, and fuck that for a game of soldiers, period. Go buy hijak85 stuff. Hijak85, man, dude, I'm looking at his account over the last couple days and kind of fucking man crushing, to be honest with you, dude. Like, me and this dude are into a lot of the same stuff. Old school WWF wrestling, old school hip hop, and not just old school hip hop, but like the figures that he's doing. I'm like, fuck, man. It's all just super legit to me. And I feel like he's one of these artists that we're getting in on early.
Are we like bromancing right now? Just a bromance. Oh man, I'm feeling it.
You can do this off your kissy send off, and then you can blow them a kiss. You can give them a little wink.
Yeah, right.
Is this why Crumbs disappeared for the whole time? So me and you can just like vibe.
That's right, Ed. That's right. He knew.
I'm like the simp over in the corner here, just watching my homie get cucked by hijak85 tonight. I'm like, what's going on here?
Dude, it was a good conversation. Like I said, dude, it's I think we're getting in on hijack. I think we're getting in early on this, dude. I really do. It's only been a year, and the stuff that you have you've put out before, dude, it is really, really high quality stuff. The amount of time that you're picking up mediums, and I don't want to say mastering them because I think it's far from that, but you're learning them into making them into a trade that you're still using. That's incredible, dude. There's not a lot of people that can do that.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
As I said, I must be a quick learner. I don't know, but yeah, no, I'll say like thank you so much for having me on. It's still very early. There's a bunch of people who haven't got a clue who the fuck I am, so I'm sorry if you've lost followers or people aren't watching because they're like, who the fuck is hijak85? But no, it's been amazing to come on and chat. We didn't even really talk about hip hop, man. I thought we'd get some hip hop chat.
Dude, bro, you know what, man?
Maybe,
I was thinking we could probably do a whole nother episode on just old school hip hop, dude. We'll probably have to hit each other up in the DMs for that.
Oh,
ooh,
yes. Yeah, man. I'm up for that.
Awesome, man. Well, thanks for coming on, dude. I appreciate it. Take a look at
No problem.
profile. There's a store link in there. Hit that up. Hit them up for a collab. Hit them up for custom work. Whatever you want. Cool.
Thanks, man. Appreciate you.
You got it, buddy.
Take it easy.
Max, great bloke, amazing talent, brilliant interview. One of my favorites. Right on, dude. I would have to agree with that, man.
I wasn't sure if you guys were going to take off your shirts there for a moment. I held off kicking them out for just a little moment longer, just in case.
You know what? I thought you were going to come in and be like, you guys done yet? Are you done yet or what?
No. But you kind of nailed it, man. You guys are kind of cut from the same cloth. That's kind of why I just fucked off, man. There's so much going on the one screen. There's so much different audio. There's 3 human beings.
But it's good, dude. You know what I mean? Like as far as the flow of the show, like what him and I are talking about, because obviously we don't rehearse any of this. We don't know which way the conversation is going to go. We don't know what pieces are going to be talked about or, what posts are going to be talked about. And you're constantly, I mean, even though you're off screen, I know that you're flipping through this guy's profile, trying to find what we're talking about and putting it up there. And it's like, you know what I mean? That's how it should be, dude. That's how it should be.
The beautiful days are when, like, it happened earlier tonight, man. In my opinion, that's fucking jokes to me when literally, as I'm kind of like, no, I can't hold off anymore. I've got to chime in. This dude literally was doing this within like 2 weeks, had a fucking like prototype up. And you're like, I've got a timeline here. I've mapped it all out. You're right. And it's just kind of like, well, let me just shut the fuck up again. And I'll.
But what's funny though, dude, and we talk about this every week. What's funny is you and I were talking about the exact same post. The exact same post where he first started going on about the 3D printing. And then at the very end of that video, it flashes a thing saying not bad for 5 days. And then you look at the next post and the next post and the next post, and you're like, holy shit, man. We went from learning Nomad to having a fully done figure 100% 60 days later. 60 days later from not knowing a program to having it carded, bubbled, painted, printed.
Even going through their page, when you were talking about their old illustrative work and I was scrolling down and they're like, well, yeah, like my brother had brought on this project, so I kind of had to learn. And you're just kind of like looking at me and like, what the fuck? I went to university with students that like not a single one of these motherfuckers was drawing like this. I go into tattoo shops, not a single one of those fuckers has pieces like this up on their walls. Who are you? What the fuck? And honestly, one page even at their shit, man, it's so funny how like so many of these artists we talk to, they're incredibly talented, they're humble, and then you look at like the deflection on their page: part-time doodler, failed tattoo artist. It's like, shut the fuck up.
Dude, that tattoo work was fucking incredible, dude. Like, I totally get it, man. Knowing Hurt since the time, before he started doing tattoos to where he is now, to where you really see the frustrations of a tattoo artist from the customer service standpoint to the client point, to the rescheduling, payment issues. It's just one thing after another, dude. And it's the same thing with toys, right? Like there is definitely a little bit of sweat equity in there as far as lining things up. And I'm sure from the time that somebody walks into the door till the time that their ass is in the seat is probably free. You know what I mean? Unless you're taking a deposit for a drawing or something like that. But it's the same thing, dude, where it's, you know, it's delayed gratification until you just gotta, you know, and I'm sure that gets annoying after a while, man, is not being able to just say, hey, I did some work, I want to get paid for it. What's funny about Hijack, though, is he's in that exact same position now, but he's doing it with hip hop stuff and stuff that he loves. And so all that bullshit in between there kind of fucking goes away because it's something that you're passionate about. And that's where that passion and sweat equity kind of balance each other out, I would say.
I thought it was hilarious. There was the one, all I could think was only in fucking toys. When you brought up the G.I. Joe piece, and they were like, well, I'd already planned on making a G.I. fat, like a Joe. It's like, why? Why were you already, like, you weren't part of the GI show. Why were you already thinking of a mashup of fucking Fat Joe and a GI?
But isn't, like, I mean, what a fucking jackpot to be in a show, though, right? You're like, oh, fucking A, this would be perfect, dude. I would have done the same fucking thing, man. Been like, 100%. Oh, yeah, G.I. Joe, well, check this out. Hey, as a matter of fact, it's already done. Here it is. Bam. And he's right. That was a great figure. He said that one did sell. But
fucking wild, man. Their backer art, it's hard not to wonder when you were asking them earlier. Super terrible. Well, we're getting to that. We're getting to the shirt off part. Don't you worry.
We still got 19 minutes left.
Jesus. Holy cow, man. I don't even know. Oh, I'm surprised that, doing backers for people. They're fucking skilled as all shit, man. Their backers are absolutely insane. I know we kind of overlook that quite often on like the actual backer work that goes into these, but there's some fucking gorgeous backers in there, man. I'm surprised that's not an avenue even.
I mean, it really is, dude. And that's what I mean. Like, it's a complete package because, you know, let's be honest, dude, some people's work is based on the backer alone, you know, and when you're hitting, you know, the backer and the figure, but not only that, the accessibility of the figure too, where you're thinking about, well, hey, I want to be able to remove this. It really is from top to bottom, dude. And in such a short amount of time, it's crazy to see. It's exciting to see where it's going to go. The other thing that I think is really interesting about him too, man, is it's very much like Hurt Toys in the sense that they are both very, very, very good at what they do in different mediums and how they can continue to bounce back and forth between mediums and still nail them. You look at his Hijack's account from just a little while ago and you see that pencil sketch that he did of Chris Stapleton. Like, holy shit, dude. Like, once I saw that, that's what made me go back and be like, hold on, man, there's got to be more of this in there. That can't just be some random shit. You know, then you go back in there and you're like, oh, wow, man, this dude's legit. This dude's like a legit artist, man. That Chris Stapleton picture was phenomenal, dude. And that's just, you know, that's what I'm saying, bouncing back and forth. Look at that. Bro, I couldn't produce something half as good as that if someone had a shotgun to my head and said, dude, you better make something dope. I wouldn't be able to do it. And this is just a little one day, hey, just trying to keep my skills sharp type shit, you know?
I looked at this literally for like 10 minutes, was trying to picture like how like the needed eraser would have maybe taken away some parts, maybe like, because I kept staring at being like, that's AI. Fuck you. There's an actual image in there. Like, you know what I mean? I'm staring at the fucking eyes and the face and the facial hair and the beard, and you're like, nah, you cheated somewhere. If I look hard enough and long enough, I'll find the cheating.
It's crazy, dude. It's crazy, man.
And that back piece, I don't think, like, honestly, when we were looking at their tattoo work earlier, and I put that one back, I think it was a back, but the fucking spacing between everything, man, even that was wild to me. Like, I had that one up for a moment as I'm staring at being like, yeah, okay, this might not be in somebody's mind like that face when you look at a portrait and you're kind of like, wow, it's so realistic. But you're looking at it being like, holy fuck, those lines are clean across a human body and consistent. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah. Yeah. And, you know, even in his sketches, dude, some of the, it's not just, you know, there's a lot of facial portraits in there, but then there's even some other stuff where there's, you know, people in motion and stuff. And I know, you know, drawing people in motion is not, and to make everything look, you know, symmetrical and not, you know, proportionate, I guess. fuck, you know, skills, dude, skills. And look at this, dude. We're not even talking about his toy making right now. We're talking about stuff besides toy making. The toy making on, I mean,
what the fuck,
bro? That's what I'm saying. What the fuck?
Yo, fuck it, dude. Honestly, I'm not even going to porn anymore. I'm just hitting up hijak85. I'm being like, yo, this is the kind of human that I'm into. You mind just doing me up a couple? What is it going to charge, my dude?
You know what's crazy, dude, is
toys.
I've seen fucking Instagram videos where people do like a time lapse thing, and that's the finished project, and they get, you know, tens of thousands of views and likes and blah blah blah. And here you got this dude over there in fucking Birmingham, England, making toys and doing this shit too, but nobody knows about it because they haven't scrolled back, because nobody is giving them the time of day in toy making, only to realize if you scrolled back, you'd be totally fucking blown away, dude. And I think that's the ironic thing about this whole shit, dude, is that a lot of people, not just Hijack, but a lot of people, dude, are in this community making toys as a kind of a secondary art medium, right? Like maybe they have aced out in something completely different that we don't even know about until you scroll back, or maybe they don't even post about it. Oh man, Max got you on that one. But I mean, I don't know, dude. I don't know. We could go on and on, man.
So honestly, what's kind of funny though, and it sucks to admit it, but I think that's why something as stupid as our show means something to some of these humans, man. Like we know sometimes we're sitting there being like, we're trying, but it sure as heck just kind of is what it is, unfortunately. And the reality is we're looking at these accounts going, they're only sitting at that, and that's why sometimes these artists are so grateful is because they know they've poured a bunch of hours. They're looking at it also going, I can't be crazy. Like, this is fucking pretty good. I look around me, I'm seeing what other people are making. Like, I'm making dope shit. What's up? What's going on? So it matters when even the folks in the chat kind of recognize it. I love that your questions the last 2 weeks have been going over the pages. Whenever you ask people to drop like what's going on their pages of the artist, that's always so fucking fun to me, because people then have to go over, take a little look, man. Like,
yeah,
take a moment, actually observe it. There's so much always on fucking Instagram.
Exactly,
just
dude.
Pause.
Right.
Look at one page for a second.
Exactly. Forced to look at it. And DNS, what is up, dude? Glad to see you, my man. We were talking about you a little bit earlier with all the fires, dude. Hope everything's cool. But yeah, dude, it's you know, I had something good to say there and I totally forgot what it was, but
fucking stoner brain.
Yeah, I know. But yeah, dude, it's crazy good work, dude. His ability to learn as fast as he does is fucking nuts. And here's what I was gonna say, dude. You're right, and he kind of alluded to it a little bit, where social media, some of the really big stuff, dude, is not really geared towards what we do, or our demographic, I would say, as far as kind of what we're doing here. It's tragic, dude, that some of the accounts, all of the accounts, I would say, in this community have so low follower accounts. And before I even came to Instagram, I didn't know what a low follower account was, dude. The first time that I saw Healy, I think he was around 15,000 followers, and I thought that was low, right? Just because what I had seen out there, you see, oh, I have 1 million, I got 100,000, I got 500,000, this guy's blah 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 blah. Well, then you start to realize, like, that's the elite, dude. That's like, movie stars and people that are in the public eye a lot.
10K and above.
Yeah, 12, 15,000 in this community, that's a lot, dude. You know what I mean? That being said, the quality of work that most everybody does here, it doesn't line up with the follower count, dude. And that's what's frustrating to me. It's that, you see some incredible fucking work like that, and you're like, only 50 people like that? Only 50 fucking people like that? How is that possible? And the only conclusion that you could come to is not enough people are seeing that. You know what I mean? And what it comes down to is I don't think that we have a lot of control over that. And that's the most frustrating part for me about social media is it feels like there's no control when it comes to something like that. So,
Valid.
you know, amazing artist, dude. He's a dope artist, man. Straight up. And I hate saying this, dude. I hope nobody takes this the wrong way, but being that he's new and being his prices are what they are, you would think, and the subject that he does, dude, he's a poor man's Delicious Again Peter right now. That's exactly how I think about him, dude.
Fair.
And I don't mean that in any disrespect to anybody.
It sucks to have to compare any of the artists, but if you had to at the moment, based on pricing, quality of work, caliber we're seeing, style.
Yes, it's there. It's there. You know what I mean? Like I have plenty of Delicious Again Peter's work. It's all fucking pristine. It's all great, dude. I'm not saying hijak85's isn't. I'm saying that it's pretty damn close, and it's getting to the point. You know, and then you look at the price point and stuff, and then that's where I justify saying we're getting in early on this guy. I think we are. You know what I mean? That's why I think that. You also get punished. So O'Keefe says you also get punished by the algorithm for sharing and reposting other people's posts. So you get punished for trying to boost your homies. Agreed, dude. Agreed. And that's a shame. If that's true, I'm sure it is true, but you know, it's shitty, man. But here we are, trying to make it work, right? So all we can do is keep plugging away and see what happens.
You want to see some tabs real quick? And then we'll let these yahoos go on with their lives. Sorry, man. You were kind of talking about this earlier. District. Now, currently, I'm actually on the Toy Market page specifically. This is actually the one that's run by Sir Collect-A-Lot. But District, it seems like going to be like a new social media platform as we're kind of talking about different places where you can kind of expand yourself and kind of show off your work. So if you haven't, and that's something that you're interested in, definitely go and check out the District site, see what's going on there. Fuck you, District. Then,
that was funny.
Scum Army PDX was actually pointing out today as well.
Yes.
Mishka is having an insane sale actually on their website. For you American folks, I believe that a bunch of the hoodies are actually 20. For folks in Canada, it looks like 30. But a bunch of the hoodie wear is going to be actually on sale, and a bunch of it actually in 2X and 3Xs as well. If you're a weirdo and think that, I'll admit, man, I go 2X on everything. I'm a 2X boy. And meanwhile, I'm like 4'10" and $120.
69% off on those hoodies, by the way. And you're right, for us here in the United States, $20 American.
Hell yeah.
As Flex would say, dollar reduce for those hooded sweatshirts, which from Mishka, that is a good deal.
I'll admit, I think it's a big embroidered patch anyways, but ever since we had Dre on, when I looked at these big giant eyeball ones and I was scrolling through the hoodies available, I definitely was thinking of Dre's comment when he came on, trying to think like, you know, it's cold here. I got to be careful about the placement of any of these front-facing logos, and Chafin's real. I couldn't help. I saw this page, man, and I know that they're actually above like the 1,000. They don't have a drop coming, but they just intrigued the shit out of me, so I pulled them up anyways. Suck a dick if you don't like it. It looks like they're using some kind of brooch for the faces, googly eyes, little bits of foam. There's fur.
I'm gonna stay on this dude's page. I have some early work from this dude. I'm gonna grab them.
No, you don't.
Because they're fucking phenomenal. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll admit, dudes, I don't really know what I'm looking at here, but this whole combination of like children's arts and craft meets ancient demigod with googly eyes, right up my alley. I can get down. Argentinian artist, is that correct? Argentinian?
Yes.
Argentinian?
That's what I was going to say. He's from Argentina. You know, the other guy, now you can, yes, Death and Strawberries. We all went on this a few years ago.
Okay.
We did.
Now it's ringing a bell.
So, but you're right, dude. And even going back, some of his older pieces have that same kind of deal going on, right?
So And this is something I feel like we've all kind of picked up over the wild, but like over the last bit we've been in toys. Would you say that they've got kind of like that Mexican booty feel to them?
You know what, dude? These to me feel, no, they don't actually. These feel like they're definitely resin casted. They feel very lightweight. That being said, I mean, they're like, this one's pretty clean, dude. This is probably my favorite one that I have from him. But I mean, look at that shit, dude. It is just it's nuts. It's nuts.
Yeah, that's super neat.
But yeah, the only thing, and you can probably put 2 and 2 together, man, is when you have little stuff like this all over, and you ship that overseas, stuff comes off. Stuff definitely comes off, man. There's on some of these, there's a considerable amount of work after the fact. Now, keep in mind that these are from a few years ago. But he makes a ton of stuff, dude. He's got a whole line of those figures. These actually came carded, and the cards were super sick too, but they're just large. They're oversized. But they're nice, dude. He's a nice artist for sure. That's all I got to say about that. But yeah, 5.5. I mean, I don't have any of the neon stuff from him. It looks like he's really getting into some of that neon stuff. Yeah, Ed, that's the other thing right there. Death and Strawberries was saying the shipping was kind of pricey. That's why we did that. Yeah, I want to say that from Argentina, you're looking at no less than $50 shipping, at least to the States where I'm at. I think
almost on par with Australia.
Yeah, and I think Kerfloss was in on that deal too. Kerfloss is about an hour south of me in the Oakland area, and I think that's why we did that. So, anyways,
makes sense. I know we brought these up a couple of times. Pope Toys building a little army over there. I'm not sure if they're building towards a drop coming up or not, but I definitely know that we've pulled them up a few times in the last couple of months, man. I think the last time we had them might have been when they were first showing the Ghostbuster ones.
Yes, those are sweet. I like those.
And actually, one of the homies who watches quite often, Mika.
Yeah.
Ended up actually, and now what's always tough when some of the homies start freshly making stuff, I'm having a hard time placing if, nice, Pope Toys does say yes, drop soon. Nice. I'm having a hard time placing if these are actually going to be their original pieces or not.
Nice. Yeah, he goes by Brilliant Demon here on YouTube. So yeah, what up, dude? Those are nice, dude. Nice glow on that.
How do you retain all this? Anyways, Damn Joe tomorrow is going to be having a drop going on. A whole bunch of goodies on the Damn Joe page, including, I believe they've got a couple of the Bone Ghosts as well.
Bro, these Bone Ghosts, I mean, they keep on evolving a little bit. And just that piece, bro, when you add the hands to it, look what that does to it when you add the hands. You know what I mean? What a creepy little fuck, right? Those are so good.
I'll admit though, and it's kind of more of a commentary of a compliment on Hijak's work. I almost mentioned it when we were looking at theirs. We don't see layer lines too often anymore, and it like their work is one with their resin printer. Like their work looks absolutely fucking phenomenal, man. When you're seeing the prints they have on there, you don't really see layer lines, and that was something that kind of caught me off guard. I almost mentioned it earlier tonight, but.
Yeah, dude, smooth. You know, they're just, you know, and I don't know enough about 3D printing, man. Maybe we should have somebody, maybe just do an episode about 3D printing for people just to ask questions. You know, people that are kind of getting into it, but
have it on and running.
Yeah, you know, and that's exactly what, you know, the lines. You know what I mean? Like we could probably talk for an hour about lines and why those are, and how to get rid of them, and how to sand them, and you know what kind of quality printer is going to not do those for you, and whatever. But you're right, dude. Hijak's pieces were fucking clean as shit, dude.
So of course, talking about drops tomorrow, Zymatco is going to do a drop. Zymatco has posted, I talked about it in one of their posts. They'd be an artist that'd probably be fucking great. Now that we even actually know a little bit more about toy making and the questions to ask Zymatco, like they'd be a great artist to bring in, because their page on one of their posts, they were talking about literally not just the sanding and the different fucking grits that they use for the sanding, but then they started breaking down their personal kind of reasoning for why they use certain colors to start coding their pieces based on the like opacity and the density of the pigmentation of those colors and how it might fill those like gradient lines a little bit better. And you're reading that just being like, what in the mother of all but yeah, NIM's dropping it there, right? Like resin printing doesn't typically have like the lines the fluorescent a filament printer does, but they're getting a lot better.
Gotcha. I had that is asking, can anybody recommend a YouTube channel to help with learning Nomad Sculpt? If anybody has that, or if anybody has some information on Nomad Sculpt that they'd like to share, go ahead and hit up. I had that. Also, I had that, someone to reach out to. I believe that Bootleg Toy Co. Is a self-taught Nomad user as well. He may be someone you can reach out to and ask some questions. But yeah, lots of that going on, man. I think it is the other thing that I really like about what hijak85 said, dude, and it was a different spin from what a lot of people, I think, who were in this a long time before 3D printing out and their view of 3D printing when it came out, of people seeing that like, oh, I don't know, I see that as a shortcut. I don't think that's really what we're doing, blah, 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 blah. And then you have someone like hijak85 who's saying, look, I was in a real downtime as far as, my creative process goes. I was getting out of tattoos. I found out that was something I didn't want to do. I'm getting too old to be going out to be doing street art at, midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning. And so 3D sculpting and learning that was what brought me into this community. It's just funny that it's that. And then you talk to someone who's been in it for a long time, and then the 3D sculpting came along, and the 3D sculpting is the reason they want to get out of it, right?
Yeah.
They're saying that, well, everybody's doing it now, and everybody can do it, and blah, 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 blah. So
I'll die on this hill, man. One of the things from day one I've always admired about it, because you start seeing individuals that their situation doesn't allow them. Whether it maybe is like they mentally start in a place where they want to be using the tools that they were using before. Maybe it's actually that, like, I know there's an artist in here that was on the road a lot, so they didn't actually have access to their tools at that time. A lot of them, like, they just couldn't use them. So it's kind of like they were able to have on rest stops, be able to make the time using the Nomad and stuff. Even like the transferring and sending of files to different people, all that stuff, man. Like it becomes one more tool. And I think we've actually said it 100 times, because it's really easy, especially in art. It's super fucking easy, man, to be able to start all of a sudden kind of being like, well, that doesn't count, but this does count. And I don't really like that, so it doesn't count, but this does count. And this requires more effort. At the end of the day, it's more important to just kind of be like, hell yeah, man, you have found something that you enjoy creating, and that's what we're trying to celebrate. The fact that you are putting your time, energy, resources into developing an idea, into creating a thing, and that's what's kind of neat. Like, it shouldn't really matter what you're using. There's no real shortcuts to a good idea and making something fucking cool.
Well said, dude. Right there, man. There's no shortcuts to a good idea. And it's,
I just want to share a tab real fast, because you mentioned Bootleg Toy Co. It's going to slip from my brain if I don't. Their Barfy is on the way to production. So the test pulls is what's been shown here. But yes, if anybody isn't following along on this journey right now, Bootleg Toy Co. is going to have a vinyl coming along soon. So hop on over to their page, make sure that you're kind of following along on that, so you can snag one as soon as they drop. So
nice. Very cool. But yeah, dude, I think that was just a good, that was a great episode. It was a fun episode. I think
you guys went hams, man.
Well, I think there's just so much there, as far as, someone who comes from, who's really good at another medium, and then kind of stumbles upon this one and finds out that, that whole story from him was great too, man, where he didn't find the community first. He was making something else and found the community afterwards, dude. And, you could probably talk to 10 different people and they might tell you 10 different stories on how they found this place. But then he followed up with, what kind of community it is. And I think it's pretty much verbatim of what everybody says. It's a welcoming place where, I don't want to say everybody's a bunch of cheerleaders, but I know one thing is, when somebody makes something dope, the majority of people say, that's dope, dude. You should do that again, or you should make more of it, or I want to buy one, or I like that, or whatever the fuck it is, and I don't know how other places are. Maybe they don't do that, but that's one thing that I really appreciate about this place. and our show is that if you make something cool, dude, we don't care how many followers you have or how long you've been doing this. We want to see it. We want to talk about it. We want to share it. We want to get more people to follow you.
I feel like a goober some days, and I'm sure you get this too. Like Hijak's actually a great example. In a year from now, or artists that are actually like have been doing this for 15 years, they look and they almost are like, are you preying on that artist? They've got, just under 1,000 followers. Their work is phenomenal, but they're only pricing it at 30, and you're scooping up one of everything. You're preying on this artist. And it's kind of like, I don't know. I found a great price for some great art. You know what I mean? Like,
and that's part of it too. That's part of it too. I guess I'd be lying if I'd say that I didn't buy stuff with that in mind sometimes. But that being said, what am I going to do with it? You know what I mean? Even if it does go up in price, that doesn't mean I'm going to fucking sell it.
No, and we're the kind of dudes that like we want to see them bigger. We're sitting there telling all of our buddies, going, dude, get yourself some of this. This is fucking nuts. Like,
yeah,
we do want to see them be bigger. And you've said that tonight. The homies in the chat have done said that tonight. We want to see them be bigger accounts. But you do feel a little bad when like you're showing somebody an account of like a new artist and their work is just unfortunately priced. Maybe that's the best way to put it. Unfortunately priced based on where they're at the moment. And meanwhile, the caliber of work is just stupid.
Well, and that's, I was talking to O'Keefe earlier and we were talking about pricing stuff and newer artist pricing stuff in general. And I think we both kind of came to the same conclusion is that, when people say, well, what do you think I should price this at? I'm always up for giving people my opinion or, hey, this is what I think. But the problem is that there is no book on what it is or how much it is. There's so much that goes into that. I don't think there's any right answer to what that is. Which, I mean, fucking A, man, I wish there was, I wish there was some sort of guide for that, but there just isn't. And like you said, dude, you see new people. I took two artists. I'm not going to name them, but I said, one artist you can buy a 3.75 from for roughly $70 to $75. You can buy something from a newer artist that I think is just as unique for half that. What's the difference there? I don't know. I don't know what the difference is there. That's for the buyer to decide, I guess. Eye of the beholder, I would say. But you could justify it in 100 different ways. And the funny thing is both those artists, I have plenty of work from both of them. So it's so random, dude, on how this whole thing works. But I think the exciting part is that we still have guys like hijak85, people in general coming in here, male and female, that are just getting started, man. Which is, we see people tailing off. We see people that are just in the middle of it. We see people that are just starting out. It's all interesting, whatever it is, dude. Can you believe it's been 5 years, dude, since when did you first start posting?
You're probably around the same time, man. Honestly, it's funny you say that. I had company recently, and I was kind of trying to explain that to them as well, where it's like, it makes your own brain kind of reminisce, where you're like, yeah, it's been about 4 or 5 years, and almost every artist on my shelf, whether it be through an unboxing or a behind the scenes kind of just chilling, or whether it be through these, at this point, like I've talked to. They're not. It's not just work anymore. It's not just something I've seen on the internet that I thought was neat. These are people that like I know them, for a lot of them personally, on a level that I would consider them friends, man. And it's even hard when like a toy dude comes up, for instance, right? And I was saying to you last time, it's like a lot of times, it doesn't matter what city you're in, you're going to be able to walk around, pop into random shops that you can maybe buy something and eat. Well, the issue is with most of us, we don't want to spend our money on commercial toys anymore. That same 40 or 50 bucks could go to one of our homies who makes really fucking dope art. So it's kind of like, you're almost better off. Like the last time Von Fake Name came down, in my brain, I'm sitting here being like, shit, dude, maybe I should just go and scoop up some fucking resin from Reynolds and grab some Smooth On, and we throw in some tunes and we'll just fucking make molds and make some some casts. Like that's probably gonna be more entertaining when somebody of our scene comes to hang out, rather than going and wandering out in fucking Toronto trying to find something to do. It's like, yo, got the papes here. We got a bunch of fucking silicone molds to material to go. Like, let's just fucking crack some stuff out. Let's just cast something. You leave with something. I have something you've made. Fun.
Yeah. Well, and that's, and I think that really, really closely relates to what Hijack said about it not being about the money, man. And that's a perfect example right there. That right there, what you said, is not about the money. It's about, being with someone else who is like-minded in something that you're really into, and you guys doing something creative together. Yeah, dude. And, when you look at it like that, man, versus commercial toys and stuff, a lot of people, especially our age, right? If you're buying commercial stuff, typically you're not opening it, you're collecting it for one reason or another. So if you're not opening and stuff like that, now, are we saying that the toy that you're treating like art, or are we saying that the stuff that's in our community is art that we're treating like a toy, or vice versa, man? I don't know. And when you look at the stuff that we do as legitimate art, I think everything's a bargain. You know what I mean? I think everything's a bargain when you
I
look
agree.
at that.
The one, like, this statement, man, will linger in my brain forever. There was one dude one time that was like, I can't wait till I get my fucking blisters from Dove so that the fucking nerds stop treating my goddamn art like motherfucking toys. And I remember being like, oh, snapples. I'm gonna play with your shit all day, my dude. This shit's toylicious. Thank you. Because at that point, it's kind of like, don't you dare put a fucking separation between the two, my friend. We know people like fucking Geddes, that they have hidden their signature in some of the most famous toys we've played with as kids, and they're a fucking famous sculptor. There is no diminishing what those individuals did because they chose toys as their main medium, as a sculptor, as a painter, as a designer, they're artists too. And so the moment somebody wants to make this weird separation to me, I do get a little bit defensive, because I'm sitting there kind of just being like, homies, I consider a toy one of the most brilliant pieces of design ever. It encapsulates so many of the artistic fucking world and brings so many smiles and joys, and then connects a bunch of people like us together. It can create memories and nostalgia. It can literally breed all these different feelings and emotions, on top of the fact that you can touch it. It's tactile.
Yeah.
It can move sometimes. It can behave or operate in different ways. There are toys where the eyes pop out. There's ones you pull a switch and the head spins around. It's like, my goodness, man, it's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. It's one of the most magical forms of art that exists, in my opinion.
I agree, man. I agree. And, I think for me, I think what's a little bit sobering to me is to realize that not everybody thinks about it that way. You know what I mean? I think everybody here does. But I think just naturally as humans, when we hear the word toy, we automatically associate that with being a kid, having a toy commercials, toy stores, something like that. So that's when, I think that's when we've talked about it before, man, is when what ruins it for me sometimes is when we have to justify what it is. When you say toy, and then you see the demeanor on their face go down, and then you have to go, but wait. But it's not what you're thinking. It's this. And as much as I hate fucking doing that, because I think it lessens what we do, unless the person is just really interested in, I think the majority of the time I get people who are interested, but then you do get people who are just kind of like, a toy, right? I've seen the skits on Saturday Night Live about adult toy collectors, and, you guys don't like to take anything out of the packages and stuff. And then you just kind of laugh and go, well, that's not exactly what it is. But I think it's unfortunate, dude, that I think a lot of us have to kind of talk our way out of something like that. And it's to the point where it's just frustrating, dude. But what can you do about it? All you can do is say, hey, this is an opportunity to educate this person about maybe something that they're not familiar with,
Well, oftentimes, like, you'll find that person does have quote unquote toys too. I remember Fox Toys mentioned they fondly remember the pandemic Zooms with Crumbs and Company. They were doing the creative discussions. I remember one day we were all kind of laughing because Epoxy Crusader was talking about how their mother had a bunch of Christmas decorations and they had like the little village set, you know, like everything had to be particular and set up. And I'm like, mom toys. Yeah, no doubt, man. Like at the end of the day, like how are they different? They've got all these little painted people and they've got their personalities and they sit here and they go to the, it's like, they're mom toys, my dude.
See, dude, and what you said right there, I think is one of the biggest things that I've defaulted to when people try to lessen what this is, right? You say, well, this is something that you hang on the wall and you don't touch and you look at, and what it does is it generates different feelings and thoughts for you. How is that any different than this thing on canvas that has been in a museum for decades and decades and hundreds of years? How are they different? Besides physically what they are, how is it different?
So at the AGO, and like honestly, it's probably one of my favorite places to go in Toronto, man. It's the Art Gallery of Ontario. But there is this dude's collection that is literally every time I go there, I think of you, because even outside, before you even enter into this section, they've got this big giant glass like Deltoff, let's say, right? And it's just got all these little objects, but some of them are like a 100-sided die, a little skeleton dude, a little, and you're looking at all these like tchotchkes or knickknacks, kind of being like, what the and this man was just obsessed with collecting various items from around the globe. And so then you enter into that next section, and the whole first floor of his collection that he's donated to the museum are things like sculpted, like little skulls that you open up, and there's like a little fucking like tableau of biblical events happening in there. An entire rack of bottles that are designed to look like army men and soldiers and stuff like that. And then you go down into the basement and it's all ships. It's all model ships. And each one will be like little dudes rowing things and there's weapons. And like you're looking around this thing being like, this dude was obsessed with toys. Like to the point it just all hangs out in the Art Gallery of Ontario. Love it, man.
Yeah.
Oh, and just like I said, reminds me of somebody like you just being like, well, this collection's got to go somewhere.
It's got to go somewhere. But you know what's funny, dude, is what you said was about Epoxy Crusader and what he was saying about, you know, the stuff that his mom has. And it's just like, you know, I think a lot of us could probably name, you know, one or two people at least that have some sort of collection like that, regardless of what it is. Plates, Christmas scenes, whatever they are, right? The point is that it's an object. It's something that you're putting on display for people to see because you're proud of it. And you're saying, look at that. Somebody made that. Isn't that cool? Well, how the fuck is any of this shit behind me? How is that any different, dude? It's not. 100%. I could look at every single one of these and just go, man, that's dope. That is dope, dude. And I'd rather collect this stuff than fucking, you know, teacups. I know that much.
I'm with you, man. All right, dude. We could talk this nonsense all evening. Not nonsense, but you know what I mean. You want to let these yahoos get on with their lives?
Yeah, why not? I guess. Let's just say real quick, next week is going to be a fucking gem of the show. I don't know if it'll be as good as this one. I'm sure it'll be up there, but next week is going to be the one-up show. That is going to be a good one. I don't know how many artists are in that, but you guys have seen the flyers floating around with all the people that are going to be on there. That is Cave Dweller and Kajiki. They are going to have the release of that show is starting a few hours before our show next week. But next week we will have a piece-by-piece review of the one-up show. So get to work out there if you're not done with your piece yet. I know it's coming down to the wire. But those are always fun shows. We'll look forward to that. I'm sure there's probably 30 to 40, 50 people in that. I don't know. But there are some good ones for sure. FKDs. Mom had a collection of those cutout houses that each had a black cat silhouette. Hated those things. That's funny. I know exactly what you're talking about.
All right, gang. It's been a blast. We will catch you all next week. One Up Show.
Peace.
Peace.